23rd, National Boston Cream Pie Day. I told you we were doing this one today. This one is I don't want to say it's the hardest thing we've done, because it's not. I mean, it's a cake, but it has steps, and it's got a bunch of different layers. I mean, it's the cake layer, the custard layer, and then the chocolate over the top. So it's a couple different things, and we're just going to do them in order that we need to do them. Do your cake first, then do your custard while your cake is baking, then do your ganache, your chocolate ganache for the top last. Okay, so let's get started on this one today, because I just want to jump right in, get us some Boston cream pie today. I don't know why they call it a pie. It's a cake. I mean, there is the pie version that I've seen, but I know the layered cake version, right? Isn't that what everybody knows? Anyway, let's get started today. Here's what you need for the cake part of it. Okay, for the sponge cake part of our recipe, you'll need 1½ cups of flour, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 cup of milk, 6 tablespoons of salted butter, 1½ teaspoons of vanilla, 3 large eggs, and 1½ cups of sugar. First things first, in our saucepan here, we're going to put our milk and our butter. I know, this one's weird. It makes this is a sponge cake, according to what I'm seeing. So I don't know why. Maybe that's what having warm milk or warm milk and butter does for this. I don't know. We're going to add that to our batter later, but just start that going. In your flour bowl here, here's your flour. Whisk in your baking powder and your salt. Okay, just whisk that together. Oh, by the way, you can start preheating your oven 325 and get 2 round cake pans greased, parchment paper on the bottom. Okay, get those ready to go, because this batter is gonna come together pretty quick, and we're just gonna put it in our pans and go. Which I hate doing that, because I never get the, you want 2 even layers, and I can never split the batter between 2 cake pans right. One always comes out thin and one always comes out big. I don't know. Anyway, in our mixing bowl now, you can leave that off to the side. In our mixing bowl now, we're going to whisk together our eggs. I suck at cracking eggs, I'm telling you. Make sure no shell, okay. I'm really just bad at it. Okay. Your 3 eggs and your sugar. And we're just going to whisk that until it's that pale yellow, it's all smooth, incorporated together, okay? Once your butter and milk is warm and the butter's completely melted, take your vanilla. Again, I'm using my vanilla bean paste rather than extract, just to give our cake a little more of a vanilla boost, so to speak. So I'm just going to whisk that vanilla in with the milk and butter. Okay, this is off the heat now, and we're just going to let this sit for a minute, and we'll get back to our batter here. I'll just show you real quick. See how whipped this is? See, it looks like cake batter on its own already. It's really fluffy, and that's just the eggs and the sugar. Okay, so that's what you want. That's about a couple minutes, maybe 4 or 5 minutes. You want to. Okay, so with this running, with our eggs and our sugar all whipped up here, we're going to slowly drizzle our warm milk and butter and vanilla into that, okay? And then finally, on the lowest speed, okay, we're just going to slowly drop our dry ingredients, our flour, into here, just till it's incorporated. We don't want to overmix this, okay? So we just want to add a little bit at a time, and just get it all, and once it's mixed in, done. Shut it off. Okay, now if you have to mix the last bit of it by hand, that's fine, because you always, like I say, you want to make sure that you scrape the bowl and get all the others. Make sure there's no clumps of flour or anything at the bottom that didn't get mixed in. So just take your spatula and just kind of give it like a quick pass, just to make sure you got everything in here, okay? That's it. It's still kept its light fluffiness, which is kind of what you want when you aerate those eggs and the sugar. You want to make sure you keep that, which is why they tell you as soon as it's done, as As soon as it's mixed together, stop. Don't overmix this, okay? Now here's the fun part of trying to make sure that I got 2 even layers here. Okay, so there's our cakes. 325 oven, about 20-25 minutes. Keep your eye on it. Toothpick in, out, clean, done. And have your cooling racks ready, because that's what you're going to cool these down. In the meantime, let's get started on the custard part of this while these are baking. Okay, for our custard today, you'll need 2 cups of half and half, 6 large egg yolks, a half a cup of sugar, a pinch of salt, a 1/4 cup of flour, 4 tablespoons of cold salted butter cut into pieces, and 1½ teaspoon of vanilla extract. Alright, let's get started on the next part of this shindig, okay? Another pot. Low heat. Your 2 cups of half and half. We're just going to bring this to a simmer. Now we're doing that tempered egg thing to make our custard today. So we don't want boiling hot, scorching hot, boiling milk. We want it just that simmer, a little bit of wisps, a little bit of bubbles coming off the side, okay? In our bowl here, or our big mixing pitcher, we're going to do our 6 egg yolks, our sugar, and our pinch of salt, okay? I'm just going to whisk this until it's all smooth, okay? And then to that, this is the weird part for me, because, or just something new for me, you're going to add your flour to this egg mixture, egg and sugar, okay? And just whisk that until it's all smooth. I've never used flour while making a custard. I've always used cornstarch as a thickener, but for this one, it says to use flour. Okay, so we're just going to whisk the flour into our egg mixture just till everything is smooth. Perfect. And now we're just waiting for this to warm up, and then we're going to do like we usually do with a custard, temper our eggs a little bit in, and then mix it until it's tempered, then everything back in the pot to bring to a simmer to thicken up and turn into a custard. And then we'll add our other stuff after that. Okay, so be back when that goes back, when this is tempered and all this goes back in there. You know what I mean, we've done this before. Okay, and then once you have everybody back in the pot, you're going to bring this to about medium to low heat, and you're going to simmer this for about 8 minutes, okay? Make sure you're using a spatula, just so that way you can really scrape the bottom here, and this is going to thicken up nicely and become our custard. Okay? So just a quick tip, I'm finding that if you alternate between the whisk and the spatula, because when you use the spatula, you're scraping the bottom and you're getting clumpy parts that are cooking on the bottom, and you don't kind of want that, you know. You want this to be a uniform mix, so make sure you just use your whisk and then it just all blends, because you're going to want this smooth custard. Cakes are ready. Be back. Cakes are out, as you can see. Once you get to this pudding consistency here, which it is now, you're going to add your butter to this and your vanilla, okay? And just whisk that in. This is going to cool down. We're going to get this in the fridge. Our cakes are going to cool down. And we're going to come back in a little bit and make our chocolate ganache and assemble this whole thing. Hey, this wasn't as hard as I thought it was today. Just a bunch of steps. See? It's easier than we think sometimes. Be back to assemble this thing later. Okay, so let's start assembling this thing. Okay, so we're going to take, in this pan, let's do our ganache while we're putting the cake together. In this pan, low heat, we're going to take a half a cup of heavy cream, okay, and 2 tablespoons of light corn syrup, okay, and we're just going to bring this to a simmer. As soon as we get it to a simmer, shut it off, and you're going to put in a half a cup of bittersweet chocolate. Try to get like a good chocolate. I'm using Ghirardelli bittersweet chocolate with a heavy cocoa content, just to give it that really good chocolate flavor, okay? So as soon as this gets nice and hot, shut it off, chocolate chips in, mix it until it's smooth, and then it's gonna go right on top of this cake, okay? Let's do the cake. Take one of your cake halves. These actually came out really nice and even, you know? So flip that one so the top is up. And just take your custard and just spread it right on top of that. We want a nice thick layer of the custard. And it's actually really, really thick. So I guess that flour trick kind of worked. The other thing is, by using this vanilla bean paste that I've been using a lot lately, you can see all the, well, you won't see it on the camera there, but you can see all the little vanilla bean specks. So you know you got a really nice vanilla flavor here with this custard. Okay. Our milk is hot. Take your chocolate chips. We're going to mix those in until this all melts, okay? Just let it sit for a minute and that'll all start melting up nicely. Now you're going to take this cake top side down and put that on the top like that. Give it a, okay, and then you just stir your chocolate ganache here until it's all smooth and incorporated, okay? Right over the top of your cake. Just pour it right in the middle and let it kind of do its magic, that it just kind of runs down by itself where it wants to. Okay. Alright, an hour later, there it is, out of the fridge. This thing is really holding together pretty well. And the chocolate re-hardened. Nice. This is going to be nice. Let me just get, I should probably use a sharp knife. To cut through this. That's why you want to put it back in the fridge, because you want to make sure that it hardens back up. Look at that. Wow. Now that's a piece of Boston cream pie. Look at that nice thick layer of the custard, which is what you want. You don't want no thin, chintzy layer. You got the cake and the ganache. All right, let's just dive right into this one, because Boston cream donuts are my favorite donut, so this is going to be right up there with it. Perfect. Wow, this thing really is the bomb. The cake is perfect, spongy. The vanilla custard is fantastic. Great flavor on that, and it's the right thickness, like the right custardy thickness. And then using the bittersweet chocolate for the ganache it just pairs better with everything, so it's not overly sweet. You know what I mean? Anyway, Boston cream pie day. Gotta make this one. Oh wow, this is definitely a keeper. I can't even take this thing to work and get rid of it because I'm going to want to eat this all week. Alright, see you tomorrow everybody.